And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of New Earth Tarot. It's good to see you all here once again. So we have 1 hour today of sharing some very powerful information through the tarot, also through spirit communication when I tune in, and if there's any question that calls for that. But first and foremost, before we go ahead and get started with New Earth Tarot today, we have some announcements. Beautiful, sacred geometrical clothing to detoxify, rejuvenate, and strengthen the body. Shop now at healingcodeshop.com.
The latest revelation in alternative healing has arrived. The Healing Code Cards, a spiritual technology unlike anything else. Through the power of sacred geometry imbued with pure source energy, physical ailments can become eliminated and detoxified from your body. 36 cards specifically designed to work on the major areas of the body, encouraging natural recovery and increased vitality. Working with the cards are easy, and their healing results are profound. Download our collection of free sample cards so you can experience results for yourself. And don't forget to view our customer testimonials. Our printed Healing Code card deck is available now with shipping available worldwide. Visit our website at healingcodecards.com.
And of course, a reminder that the promo code XMAS20, that's capital XMAS 20, where you can get 20% off all printed and digital products on healingcodecards.com, is still available. It's valid until December 5th, and it is a single use per customer. So go ahead and use that promo code when you're checking out in the shopping cart at healingcodecards.com. Order any of the products, digital or physical, that you want, and the promo code will apply to those. Of course, I've talked about etherics. I'm going to be getting more into that as we get closer into the new year, right? The new year is really where I'm going to be kicking everything off here with the brand new company. So like I said, it's not going to be called the Healing Code Cards anymore. It's going to be called etherics, right? So the etherics card decks, the etherics body deck, the etherics mind deck, the etherics energy deck, the etherics ether bed that I'm creating as well now too. And of course, there's going to be some amazing, other amazing technologies that will be coming forward with etherics. A yoga mat, a regenerator mat, more advanced apparel as well too. So it's going to be really exciting. This is really going to be a big focus of mine in 2023. My partner and I are both working on it. So I'm really looking forward to etherics debuting here in January and telling you guys more about it. It's going to be really amazing. And of course, private sessions. We now have distance healing by donation, which is actually becoming quite popular. I'm getting quite a lot of requests for distance healing by donation, and that is, of course, available. Private sessions with tarot readings and higher self-communication. Same thing with the 3-question sessions by email. So you can check that out at newearthteachings.com. Like I said, distance healing by donation. You can offer a donation of any amount, and distance healing will be done, either for yourself or for someone you know. I'm happy to announce that the Kundalini and Inner Practices tour, Stonehenge tour, is sold out. Okay, so we have actually been able to sell out this Stonehenge tour. Thank you guys for being a part of this. I'm looking forward to working with 24 others on this Stonehenge tour. That's happening July 30th to August 6th. We're going to have an amazing time. So thank you guys for signing up. And for those of you who I'm going to see in the summertime, I can't wait to meet you. We're going to have a really incredible experience as we visit Stonehenge, as we raise Kundalini, as we perform inner practices, as you move yourself into this once-in-a-lifetime journey. It's going to be incredible. Infinite Intelligence Report is happening this Sunday. Okay, so I know I've been falling behind with the Infinite Intelligence Report, going to Mexico, doing everything here. Just keeping really, really busy behind the scenes. But I'm now getting back on track to work with the Infinite Intelligence Report this Sunday. So again, you want to check that out. And another big announcement is I'm going to be interviewing Janine again. Okay, this is going to be happening Friday, December 9th at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Hosted live on Zoom. And of course, Janine is going to be taking your questions. So we're going to be on Zoom. And please make sure that you are a live Zoom attendee. Okay, usually when I start doing these sessions with Janine, people start swarming me with emails and say, "Oh, Brad, can you ask this question to Janine? Can you ask me that?" I said, "No, guys, I can't do that." Right? please make sure, let's keep it fair for everybody, to be a live Zoom attendee, okay? Now, if you go to my YouTube channel, you will see that one of the upcoming videos is with New Earth interviews with Janine, okay? So if you go to the video description of that, you can find the link there for the Zoom registration. I was not able to get it here on time today, but if you tune into tomorrow's broadcast with New Earth TV Live, I will have the Zoom link on the video description there. And even when you tune into this, when it goes into recording, I will also put that up in the video description as well too. So the Zoom link for my interview with Janine, and of course, being able to tune in live on that Friday, December 9th, asking Janine questions. It's going to be great that she's back. I'm going to see if I can bring Janine on more on a regular basis, right? So maybe we'll do some monthly broadcasts together. I'll talk to her about that. But it'd be great to have Janine on here a lot more. So maybe on a monthly basis. That'd be really cool. So looking forward to that happening December 9th. And a reminder that everything on the New Earth Teachings YouTube channel here is backed up on our backup channel, which is odyssey.com/@NewEarthTeachings. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started with today's broadcast. So hello everybody, welcome. Glad to see everybody from all over the world tuning into today. Now, one of the questions I wanted to start off firstly, before I get into your guys' questions, because I've been asked this question quite a bit. And one of those questions is, Brad, is it true that there's looking to be another pandemic scenario looking to take place here in 2023? Some people may think that it's happening around the later portion of 2023. So is that true? Okay. So we're going to look at that one first and foremost because it is quite a common question. And then we're going to get into some other questions here in the chat. All right. So let's take a look at that question first and foremost. And I think we'll look at the later period of 2023 because some people are saying that it's supposed to happen around then. And so we're going to ask that question. Is there a resurgence of another type of pandemic scenario that is looking to come about here at the end, near the end of 2023? Okay, so let's take a look, see what the cards say about that. I have already looked into this reading a couple of times, but I'll elaborate after I share some information on with the cards. Okay, so the question is again, is there supposed to be another pandemic scenario taking place in the latter half of 2023, near the end of the year? Okay. So first of all, this represents the past. This is representing before that time. People are in fear again, okay? This is people's fear talking. This is not about the actuality, about what's actually taking place. People are just dreading the idea of saying, oh my God, what if this happens again? Oh my God, what if there's another lockdown? Oh my God, what happens if this really does take place? What will happen to the world? Okay, so this is just a fear card. This is kind of representing ourselves right now, here in 2022, right? Because this card is representing the past, okay? Not going to happen, okay? So I'm not getting anything in regards to the idea of a new pandemic coming together, okay? The COVID-19 was their bread and butter. If that failed, then any other attempts for any pandemic will fail, will fall apart, okay? So I know a lot of people are dreading that. I mean, especially for the past year, I've had quite a few people when I'm doing private sessions or when I'm doing these videos as well too, where people are just getting completely in fear about the idea of another pandemic coming forward, okay? No, there's going to be new plans. Now, basically what I'm sensing here for the end of 2023 is that there will be something central pertaining to the pandemic, but it's going to be much more of an exposure. It's going to be much more of an exposure of it. Because you have to think of it this way. If you guys have been tuning into my YouTube channel for quite some time, if you've been watching me for months, looking at New Earth TV Live and when I was doing New Earth Insights as well too, you know that I've been talking about the counterforces quite a lot. Unfortunately, with certain psychics, with certain astrologers, they're still following the narrative of the news. They're still following the narrative of the mainstream media quite a lot. And they're still buying into a lot of the narrative, thinking, oh my God, the narrative is saying this and the narrative is saying that. and thinking that that is exactly what's going to come about, right? They may start to try and plug for some type of new virus coming in. They've been trying to do that with monkeypox, right? They're trying to do this with other things. But that's exactly what the monkeypox was. They were trying to reinvigorate the pandemic, and it failed, right? Look at the variants that they were trying to do, right? We have the Omicron variant and all these different things. None of that stuck, okay? We're not in that alignment anymore. So even with astrological alignments that are coming together, it will be much more central in the idea of an exposure to a pandemic, an exposure relating to a lot of the things that have happened. This whole thing with COVID-19 is going to be looked at for years. Look at the idea of what happened with 9/11, right? Here we are, well over 20 years later, and we're still poking and prodding at it, okay? And now if we're looking at COVID, this is something that is going to be poked and prodded at for many years, okay? Basically, all of those who are responsible for trying to manufacture this particular pandemic have already been dealt with. And when you look at the narrative pertaining to the mainstream media and other forms of news sources, they're playing out this narrative, and they have to do it in baby spoonful amounts to really kind of break everything down and basically tell everybody this is just a big facade. This was just a big farce. It was all part of us trying to get richer. It was all about the idea of getting billions and billions of dollars for the pharmaceutical industries. It was all part of being able to create surveying and control and slowly poisoning people with vaccinations. And that's basically our entire agenda. And so now more and more people are realizing that. And now all of a sudden, if they decide to roll out another one and say, wait a minute, this is just COVID-19 again. I'm sorry, but we're not going to fall for that again. Okay? So this is why, in that sense, we've never had a second 9/11, right? Why there's only that one 9/11 that took place, right, with the World Trade Center. We've never had a second one like that, right? It's a one-shot situation. Same thing in regards to the idea of COVID-19. It's a one-shot situation. If that fails, they cannot resurrect the idea of another pandemic and trying to play it out in the way that it has. They've been trying to do that with variants. They've been trying to do that with monkeypox, and they have failed all the time. Okay? It never stuck. COVID stuck because it was at the right astrological time for something like that to be shown, because it's all part of us learning. It's all part of us growing past a lot of these false agendas. 2023 represents the year of reset. It's an introspective year. There's going to be investigation taking place this year. And what I'm also going to be doing, probably by this week or next week, is I'm going to be creating a 2023 year of reset first quarter video. Okay, it'll be an independent video, standalone video, I should say, a standalone video that will not be live. And I'll be making a video on that, both with tarot and with spirit communication, about the first quarter of 2023. And then we'll just be going through each quarter as well, too, as we get closer to each one. As we look in the behind the scenes, like I said, guys, counter forces right now are pretty much running the show. Okay, so in regards to the idea of a pandemic, that's not what's happening, because that's not what they want. They have to be part of this narrative, and they have to spoon feed a lot of this information that's slowly bringing down the foundation pertaining to those who are the corrupted ones, who have been trying to use COVID-19 for their own leverage. And now that's all falling apart. Okay, so basically what's happening, especially as we get into the end of 2023, is that a new call is happening. A new transformation is taking place. So I know there may be quite a few experts on YouTube and elsewhere that are saying, oh, guys, get ready to brace yourselves because we're going to have another pandemic. And I would basically be looking at them and saying, no, we're not. Nope, that's not what's happening. Oh, but Brad, we're getting all these alignments. And I said, yes, these alignments are helping to expose a pandemic, not to try and create a new one. Right? If we get too caught up and too soaked down by the idea of these official narratives taking place on mainstream media, where they're causing you guys to sweat buckets because they think that they're going to create another pandemic, well, then they've got you. They got you hook, line, and sinker. You're now in the fear vibe, and now they can say anything to you, and you're willing to cough up hundreds of thousands of dollars to try and feel safe. Okay, that's exactly what the official narrative does. It's what the MSM does. But that's not what's taking place here. Is we're looking at something very, very different as we move into 2023, as it is an introspective year, as much of the counter forces are pretty much taking control of everything right now. And we're also going to be looking at the new beginnings of a rollout pertaining to a new financial system. The whole idea in that sense of the economy crashing is nothing more than a staged event. Like I said, economy crashes are engineered. They are not natural. There has never been a natural economical crash. It's been deliberate. It's been engineered. It's been furthered in that way to try and further certain financial and political gain for certain parties that are attempting to utilize that as a type of leverage. None of what you guys see on the mainstream media news is real. I don't think I need to tell you guys about that because I'm sure the majority of you already know. Okay? So when you see these experts trying to say this, throwing these doom and gloom situations, even astrologers that are saying this as well too, and saying you're still hanging on to the narrative, you're still listening to all these things on the mainstream media and all these sources in that sense, and feeling like this is exactly what's going to happen pertaining to a second pandemic. That's not what's taking place, right? So what they have been trying to do is engineer a stock market crash. They're basically maybe getting close to the point now where as we start around the new year where they're attempting to engineer that. But my feeling is that with a stock market crash, the idea of that falling is going to allow the new system to come together, or new systems to come together to pick up the pace. So my feeling is that a stock market crash will certainly be inevitable. But it's all part and parcel of an engineered effort to take out the old fiat currency and bring in the new quantum financial system. Okay. So that's really what I've been getting for quite some time. And I'm starting to see it more and more every single day. When I've made those sharings in the past, we're seeing it a lot more happen a lot more now. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share first and foremost with you guys because it has been just a very big common question. And I wanted to nip it in the bud today as we started this broadcast today. All right, so let's go into the questions that you guys have. I know I'm seeing a couple questions here on the very bottom. So we do have a question here. I think we'll just start off with one question here at the bottom, and I'll work my way back up. Karen asks, is Mr. Musk on the good side? So like I said, I don't really like to give personal opinions of people, but if we're looking at their professional side, we'll look at that. So the professional side of Mr. Musk, let's take a look at that and see exactly where he stands, okay? But no, I won't give my personal opinions of other people. I just don't do that. But professionally, yes, we'll look at it. Okay, so let's take a look at that. So, is Mr. Musk working for the counter forces? Okay, that'll be the question here. It's kind of a rough idea. It's kind of a challenge to say exactly where his loyalties stand, okay? He still is kind of the person that he is, and he's very, very much kind of a shady, on a business level, I should say, kind of a shady individual in that way, right? He's been kind of dancing on both sides for quite some time. Now, on a particular professional level, yes, he's basically being told what to do by counterforces. But he's always kind of danced the line in between both sides, right? He was very much a part of what we could refer to as the old cabal. Okay, he was very much a part of that. And that's what this is signifying. Okay, he certainly was a part of that. He certainly was a part of the deception. He certainly was part of the illusions, right? He very much was a yes man when it came to that particular group. But because a lot of that group has been shifting and sabotaging itself altogether, and things have been changing, he's moving much more towards the counter forces, okay? So he certainly was on that side of the fence. Let's just say there's the dark side of the fence, and then there's the counterforce side of the fence, okay? So he very much was on the dark side of the fence, and he still kind of swings that way a little bit. You can just kind of see it in his personality, that this guy definitely has some tendencies surrounding him in that way. But he's also kind of a walk the line kind of person as well, too. He kind of dances to the beat of his own drum in many different ways, But as long as he continues to fall in line with what the counterforces are telling him to do, then they'll still let him do what he wants to do. Okay? But he's very much been a kind of a dual fence sitter, so to speak, kind of bouncing back and forth between both sides. So he's kind of dualistic in that way, right? He has kind of a two-faced nature to him in that way. And again, I'm just talking about him professionally, not talking about him personally here. But basically, in that sense, that's the nature of his being, right? Just on a professional level, he's always kind of been a renegade. He's kind of always been that kind of wanderer. And he basically kind of just saddles on both sides of the fence every now and then. But he's still doing exactly what he's meant to be doing, where the counterforce is letting him work, right? But he still may go off with some offbeat shenanigans that he does professionally, okay? And so, yeah, he's kind of a shady character in that way. But that's as far as I want to go. I don't want to go into him personally or anything of that nature. But that's what we can share. It's kind of like he's a dual character. That would be the best way I could put it. Okay. All right, let's go up the chat here a bit more. Okay, I have a donation here from Angelique. Angelique says, how to heal my mom who has PD and can no longer walk. Well, you cannot heal her. Okay, that's an important thing for you to understand, is that I've never healed any of you guys, right? When I've done healing on you guys, I've never done that work. So basically what I can suggest is that you give her so much of your love, okay? I want you to sit down with your mom, Angelique. And I want you just to place your hand on her heart. And I want you just to pour all of your love into her heart, from your heart, directly into her. And just say, with all of the divine spirit that is within my love, let this make a difference for my mother. Okay? With all of the divine spirit that is within my love, let this make a difference for my mother. Okay? And I'd like you just to sit down, and I'd like you just to know that the love of spirit leads the way. Okay? So when I'm doing healing on Fridays with you guys, even when I'm doing distance healing, nothing of Brad is in that healing at all. It's all spirit. Okay? And that's what we have to surrender ourselves to. We let spirit come in. We let spirit surrender. Your mom feels that pure, unadulterated love from you, and that's what makes changes. So that's what I want you to do for her. Of course, we can look into ozone therapy. Of course, we can look into different things that can help physically. But it's not so much of the physical problems of thinking, oh, if somebody's physically injured, then we just need to heal them physically. It doesn't work that way. Okay? All injuries, about 95% of them, comes from our psychological behavior, our mentalities, our emotions. Okay? So we need to work with our heart. We need to work with love. Love is the cure to everything. Okay, Angelique? Thank you for your question. Another contribution here from Brittany. Brittany asked the question, should I go back to school in January? Okay, so Brittany, I have to let everybody know, because I forgot to put this up this morning. Please don't ask me personal questions on the lives, okay? Please make sure they're semi-personal or general in nature, okay? But Brittany, as you've already purchased, as you already did a donation, okay, we'll go ahead and answer your question now very quickly. But let's just make sure we don't put personal questions up, guys. Okay, if you guys want a personal session with me, please book a private session with me through New Earth Teachings, okay? I just don't want to do it on here. I'll do it this time, Brittany, because you paid. But let's just make sure we save that for private sessions, okay? All right, let's take a look at your situation here, Brittany, very quickly about going back to school. I'm getting a big yes. I would say it's a good idea for you to go back to school. I think it's something that you could learn, something that could be quite beneficial for you in the long run. Maybe something in school that will help you to understand your life path ahead, okay? So when we get an ace in the cards, that's basically an instant yes, okay? So it's saying that something really good, maybe warm and welcoming for you in that sense, okay? It's going to help you to maybe sharpen your intellect a lot more, sharpen your education a lot more. Something that the school has is there for you. You need to go back to school, okay? There's something there for you to enable growth, okay? And it's going to help you with great strength. It's going to help you with empowerment. It's going to help you to blossom, kind of like the flower here, right? Blossoming, opening yourself up, expanding yourself on a deeper emotional and mental level. So the answer I'm getting here is yes, okay? So that's the only personal question I'm going to do today, guys. So please, no more, okay? Let's use that for private sessions. So let's go ahead and move on now to some other semi-personal or general questions. Okay. Okay, here's one from Rebecca. Rebecca asks, please read on the first half of December for the USA. Are there any emergency broadcast system announcements looking to happen? Okay, so let's take a look at that for the United States for the first half of December, between December 1st here today and December 15th. What is happening with the USA? Can we expect some emergency broadcast system announcements taking place for the US between that time? So let's take a look. Okay, doesn't look like I'm seeing anything in regards to an EBS, okay, but it looks like there's going to be some surprises that are going to be dropped around December 1st to December 15th. Like I said, I don't really feel that the EBS is necessary right now because a lot of the counterforces still have access to the mainstream media. It's kind of a weird situation. It's kind of like the mainstream media is being shared between dark forces and counterforces. They're actually able to use the platforms together. It's a weird thing. This is why I say none of this is real. None of this makes any sense at all. It's nothing but an orchestrated game, right? If this really was something that was pertaining to an actual, terrorist situation or anything of that nature, nothing of that would be allowed, okay? But they're sharing mainstream media. You have the dark forces and you have the counter forces sharing CNN, sharing MSNBC, sharing a lot of these mainstream media networks. It makes no bloody sense. It's not real. So therefore, in that sense, I think we're going to see some shakeups happening here in December. But in regards to the idea of an emergency broadcast system alert, I'm not getting that. Yeah, and I think that just a lot of the things from the MSN are going to be debuted as they need to, right? So it feels like there's going to be some more exposures, perhaps regarding COVID or the pandemic, the scamdemic, I should call it. All right, and so they may be making some announcements about that. There may be the idea that something is attempting to be restored, something is attempting to be recovered from what was once damaged. Okay, so a lot of work still being done behind the scenes, but I'm not getting anything in regards to an emergency alert. Okay, I know people are just like on the edge of their seats, just grasping their armrests, waiting for some type of emergency broadcast system announcement happening. But like I've said quite a few times in the past, I don't see that happening. I see that as an absolute last resort. Okay, and so I'm not seeing that. I don't think that there's a need for that. The counterforces are already winning, right? There's really no need to do that because they're going to have eventually more control of the MSM over the Dark Cabal because the Dark Cabal is going to be fading out. But in the meantime, they're still sharing the platforms. That's just weird, isn't it? Because none of this is real. This is all fake, guys. Right? I don't think you need me to tell you that. Pretty sure everybody here that's watching me right now, but yeah, we already know it's fake. Well, then why worry about these things if you already know it's fake? Okay, just one of those interesting conundrums, right? Okay, this is from Sunflower. Sunflower says, "G'day, Brad. Just want to say thank you. My husband's nervous system is starting to calm down after your healing." Oh, that's wonderful news, right? Tell him I said hello. I hope he continues to do well also, and hope you're doing well also. So I just did healing for Sunflower on Friday last week, and her husband had a problem with his nervous system. And so through spirit, we were able to clear out a lot of that debris out of his nervous system, and he's doing very well. So Sunflower, thanks for that report. I really appreciate it, and thanks for your contribution too. Wonderful news. Hope he continues to do well. All right. Nagoyan says, just for a moment, I thought Brad is gone again. Yeah, it's like last week, right? When I introduced the very first episode, people were panicking, okay? My own girlfriend was messaging me and saying, hey, I thought you were online. I thought you were, where'd you go, right? And I was actually starting to worry her as well, too. I'm like, no, guys, I thought it was on the air. I thought I was talking on the air, but I was really just talking to myself for like an hour. And then I realized I was not on the air. And so that's why last week's first episode of New Earth Tarot happened late, because I thought I was broadcasting. I wasn't broadcasting, and people thought I disappeared. Like Brad must have got abducted by ETs. Maybe he went home to Sirius. I guess something happened. Something horrible. I'm okay, guys. Don't worry. Everything's good. I'm here with you now. Don't worry, it's not some artificial hologram or something. Everything's good. Okay, let's go down the list here a bit more. Okay, so hello from Netherlands, hello from Colorado, hello from Finland. Okay, here's one from CRU. Oh, wait, hang on. So I got another contribution here, and I'll get to CR user in a sec. Roman says, is the UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak a white hat or a black hat? Family or wife connections suggest latter. How long before the UK gets rid of him as well? Okay, we're asking a couple questions here. Now, Roman, I'll answer your question here in just a second. But here's the thing. I don't really prefer for those terms, white hat and black hat. There's no such thing. You're looking at an Oreo cookie, okay? And there's a lot more to life than the idea of looking at black and white Oreo cookies, okay? So the most important thing here is to realize that when we look at these people, we immediately paintbrush something upon them. Oh my God, this person worked with the dark forces, like what I talked about with Mr. Musk, okay? But he's very much working with the counter forces right now, even though he's straddled both sides of the fences. This is where people get mixed up. They paintbrush the idea of a certain person, thinking that person cannot change. That's their alignment. They're evil. They're horrible. They've worked for that dark cabal. They've done this. They're never going to be able to do anything else again. And this is what's going to happen to them, blah, 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 blah. And they don't think that they can change. And with all due respect, that's ignorance talking. Okay? A lot of these people, in that sense, who once worked for the cabal, are now working for the counter forces. Okay? But they still have their kind of twisted personality, but they agree that they want this whole thing over with. And this is why they switch sides. So guys, don't judge. Okay? And I know that's hard to do when you're looking at these people who are part of these big families and stuff like that, but they're still human beings, right? And if they're willing to switch sides and really to atone and make amends for what they're doing, you want to encourage that. Have compassion for everybody. There should be nobody on this planet that you have animosity for. Not a single person. And if you do, you're the one that's basically surfing in that ignorance. You're the one that's going to be hurt by that. Okay? So you want to be aware of that. So now, having said that, we'll look at Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. Okay? And just basically getting the idea of the orientation of which Rishi is serving. Okay? Of where he stands. So we'll take a look at that. So Rishi Sunak is his name. So what is his orientation right now? Who is he working for? I think that's the better term to say. Who is he working for? And then we'll get the idea of what that represents. Got to remember, guys, if the powers that be, as it were, elect this person from coming into office, they're not looking to get rid of him. Okay? If he was so much trouble, he wouldn't have been elected in the first place. To me, that just shows he wants to play ball. Okay? So, let's take a look here as the outcome. So you're right, he certainly was serving the idea of the dark forces. Okay? So he very much was straddling that fence. Not anymore. Okay? So I can't say if he's a doppelganger or anything of that nature. I'm not seeing any doppelganger cards, so I think this is still the guy. Okay? But this is telling me he's very much switched sides again. This is like the other side of the fence. Okay? He has switched. Okay? He is going to be doing some work for the counterforce. This is also a counterforce card. Okay? Looks like he's going to be stirring some trouble for a lot of people who were trying to oppose his entry, or basically trying to oppose him still being a prime minister right now. Okay, so from what I can see here is that even though he's had the dark cabal influence, and you're right about that, Roman. Okay, he certainly has had that connection. But like I said, it just doesn't help us to say, okay, there's black hats and there's white hats, right? I know there's still some people that use that term. So okay, bro, there's white hats and there's white hats and there's black hats. Who's on the white hat side and who's on the black hats? Okay, let's get out of the Oreo cookie. And let's look just into the idea of natural orientation, okay? So like I said, he's going to stir the pot. He's going to be stirring the pot with a lot of different things. And I think there's a lot of people publicly that, of course, do not like this guy because they're aware of his past. They're aware of his background. From what I'm getting here from this reading is it looks like he's working with the counterforces right now. Okay, he has switched sides because it's like I said, guys, they process these people. And they said, let's make a deal. Because you have that natural presence to yourself, because we think you could be a good fit, you can either serve the counterforces in regards to what we're looking to do here and play ball, or we can process you and take you out of the picture right now and put you in jail. What do you want to do? So, okay, I'll do it. And that's what happens with a lot of them. Okay? They basically go into the other room. And that's basically what I would call it. There's processing, and then they take you into the next room. And they give you an offer. They're saying, rather than us having to put you somewhere and maybe have to face tribunals, we're going to give you an opportunity. If you're willing to work with us and spill the beans and tell us a lot about the people who you have worked with in the past, and they start singing like a canary, then they're going to give this person an opportunity. Okay, he's been following what we're telling him to do, and so we'll keep him in office. Right? That's exactly what happens, because this is what's happening with a lot of leaders that are still in office. People are just, blowing their tops about some of these people that are still in office and saying, why aren't they out? We know these guys have been part of dark cabal activity. Why are they still in? Because they've reached a deal. Because this person is singing like a canary, and they will completely follow whatever the counterforces tell them to do. So it makes the job a little bit easier for them to maintain this person as a figurehead of a political regime. That's what they do, guys. You may not agree with their tactics, but guess what? It's not your call in the first place. You're not working with the counterforces behind the scenes, military and otherwise. It's not your call. This is, again, is where we're looking and accepting about how things are and just watching the actions of this person, right? Most importantly, regardless of whether or not a leader of any particular type is coming into office, you have to understand that that leader is not running a country. The people are running the country, right? And we have to get behind that mentality. Rather than thinking that this leader is going to do everything, blah, blah, blah. No, they're a figurehead, right? When we really look at the power of the collective consciousness, we understand that we are the ones that are running the show. You get into that mentality, you're not concerned about all this, okay? So Raman, thank you very much for your question. To my feeling, UK is not looking to get rid of him. He's going to be around for a while, okay? Let's go to RG. RG, thank you for your donation. Appreciate that. So CR user was asking, ask about Hawaii, the volcano, and spiritual healing as Earth goes through this. So let's take a look at the Hawaii volcano and see what comes up. So what about the Hawaii volcano and the spiritual healing that will follow it? Okay, let's see what comes through with that. Okay, well, this is actually presenting some type of opportunity for growth. This is like something new that's unearthing. It feels like something big is coming out of the idea of this volcano. This is, of course, representing the past card, right? So it represents, of course, eruption, right? The top of the staff, right? Like the flowing magma, okay? But this is also representing something very opportunistic. This is representing something in regards to a great purging that's taking place. This is basically what happens when volcanoes erupt. It's like all of the intense, dense energy that's contained under the earth is being spewed out, right? It's a release. That's basically one of the ways that the earth releases a lot of this pent-up anger, okay? Because again, she swallows a lot of this stuff down, and when it gets too much, there needs to be an evacuation, okay? An evacuation will often come through the idea of volcanoes, earthquakes, for this example, okay? So the feeling I'm getting here is that this is something that's actually going to empower the earth. The earth needed to bring up a lot of this old, dense debris that has been sitting in her for a very, very long time, right? It's really just helping us to ask a question in that sense about what we can do to make ourselves better, so we're not continuing to put all of this heavy, dense energy into the earth. So she needs to continue to bring up all this stuff after a certain amount of time, right? It's just too much of this dense energy that's been fermenting in her for quite some time, and she needs to bring it up. And this is helping to kind of clear the air a bit, even though it's a disastrous situation pertaining to a volcano, right? We have to look back at the La Palma volcano that happened here last year, right? And a lot of people were dreading that, saying, oh my goodness, so there could be a gigantic tsunami from this volcano that could come and hit the East Coast. Of course, that never happened. Because like I said, guys, there's behind-the-scenes intervention preventing any large amount of loss of life, representing natural disasters of that nature will be prevented. Okay, so to me, it feels like this can be something of a new beginning that will help people to, I think, on a much more collective level, fend for themselves. Right? We're bringing up that energy. We're vomiting that energy out, and now that energy can dissipate. It can go up into the atmosphere, and it can start to harmonize itself. We've made some room. And so to me, the feeling here is that, yes, there's going to be some healing involved, but it feels like this is going to trigger some events that is going to lead to people kind of revolting, standing up for themselves, working together with their soul tribes, working together with their soul groups. Okay, so the healing here in that sense is action. So like I said, like what we saw with the La Palma volcano, shortly after that happened, there was a lot of intense activity taking place upon the planet. And I think the same thing is going to happen with this Hawaiian volcano that is now erupting. And seeing, again, more revolt, more intensity taking place upon the planet of humanity standing up. Okay, so like I said, guys, this is still something that's going to play out, especially in 2023. I would love to say, oh, guys, tomorrow this is all over. This is all over. There's no more darkness. There's no more trudging through a dark tunnel. And it's all finished. As much as I would love to tell you guys that, it's not going to happen. Okay, 2023, we're going to see more of it. Okay, unfortunately, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, right? These years are extremely intense. And then we guys go into 2025. There's kind of a big change that's going to take place to culminate a lot of the cleanup that's been happening in this decade. It's leading from 2005 to about 2029, maybe a very early part of 2030. That's going to lead to a very big cleanup taking place here. This is a cleanup decade. I wish I could say it was something else, but this whole decade of the 2020s is about cleaning the filth out of our planet. It's about cleaning the filth out of ourselves, because it is helping us to move into another level, right? As I've talked about, a new earth. Okay, but that new earth is not always about the idea of a split earth. Okay, it is also relating to this earth as well too. That this earth is also going to be going through some significant changes as well. Yes, there's another earth. Dolores Cannon talked about this a lot, so did Adronis, right? Looking into the idea of the splitting of the worlds, of the planetary mitosis. Okay, yes, that is certainly happening. Yes, that is certainly taking place. But you got to finish your life here. Okay, you got to finish up what you're meant to do here. You can't just ditch your body and say, okay, I'm going to go off into fourth density Earth. It doesn't work that way. Okay, you got to finish up with what you're doing here, with what you've signed up for, with what you have contractually agreed to come here to experience. Okay, and a lot of it is just attempting to do cleanup. We're cleaning ourselves up at the same time. The world is cleaning herself up. It's all mutually exclusive here. Okay, so very important to remember. Okay, I have another contribution here from Felicica. Thank you. Hello, Brad. Last Saturday in Victoria, Australia, we had our state election, and Dan got in again. Was it corrupt, and who is he working for? Okay, so Dan got in. I didn't get a last name, but I haven't really followed Australian politics, so I guess I'll just call him Dan. So is Dan corrupt, and who is he working for? So let's take a look. That's the thing with politics, guys. As soon as you put your hopes up in this stuff, because you think somebody brand new is going to come in, and they may seem like they're very, very trustworthy people, you got to get used to disappointment. They're still going to be working with a lot of these old kind of leaders that have been shady in the past because they have karmic seeds that they have to clean up with through their re-election, either a re-election or an election of this particular person, because they have a lot of karmic duty that they have to clean up. Okay, they're cleaning up their dharma. That's the whole idea, their nature of their duty. It's giving them an opportunity to come into office and start following together with the nature of the counterforces to clean up things, to make amends, to atone. That's why a lot of these corrupt leaders, that they are the last kind of people that you want to have in office, are coming into office. I know you guys don't want me to hear me say this, but I'm telling you, this is exactly what I'm reading. It's exactly what I'm getting through the flow. Is like, that's exactly why these once corrupt leaders who are now willing to change and need to go into office to atone. Okay? That's what's happening. If they don't atone, they'll get taken out very soon. They'll get taken out very quickly if they try to go back into the old ways again. Counter forces are watching them like a hawk. And if they start doing that, they go out. But they're still part of the narrative story. The narrative story is just a joke. They're actors, right? So unfortunately, we have to put up with a lot of these leaders that are being reelected. And sometimes I have to tell you guys, I'm sorry guys, but maybe this leader is going to get reelected. Oh, Brad, you're evil. How could you say that? But unfortunately, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. They're working to atone themselves. That's all part of karmic rehabilitation. That would be a good way of putting it. All right, so let's take a look at this Dan guy. Is he corrupt? Who is he working for? Let's take a look. Okay, well, he had the let's go into the other room visit. Okay, he's had that too. So in the past, I think he's almost had really poor health, because I think there have been people who have actually wanted to kill this man. Okay, I think he's had death threats. I think he's had all kinds of threats all around him, and people have wanted to take him out. Okay, there have been people who have threatened his life, right? So he needed to kind of do some soul searching, and this is exactly why I feel he has switched sides. Here we go, guys. Counterforce card. Okay, he had that back room visit. Let's go into the other room. Your process, but let's take you into the other room. So he had himself taken into the let's go into the other room conversation. Okay, he's looking to make amends. Exactly what I've been saying here. He's looking to atone. He's looking to follow through with where the counterforces want him to go, and start playing ball in that way. Like I said, just being an actor in that way. He's going to have a new rhetoric. He's going to show a new perspective. There's going to be something that's going to be a change of theme. He's going to be turning things around. He's going to be flipping the narrative here in that way. So this is exactly why these things happen, guys. I know we expect so many things because that's what the dumb intellect tells us. You got to have a whole new leader. This whole new leader who likes all these different things, who's talking like the conspiracy theorists talk and talking like the truthers talk. And that's the person we're going to get in the office. But very rarely you're going to have a person like that. Okay? These leaders need to go back into office to atone. They need to do some karmic reconciliation. That's why they're being allowed to go back and to go into office and to atone. Okay? I know it doesn't make sense, but that's just how things are playing out. You have to accept these things as they come. You do not have authority over these things. Accept things as they come. Make peace with yourself. Live the life you want to live. Okay? So, Lishka, thank you for your question. All right. Rebecca says, can you pull cards on the successive etherics? I'd rather not. Okay? That's just firstly my own business. And I don't really want to reveal that to you guys right now. So if it was another company, maybe. But with my own company, I'd rather keep that to myself right now. Okay. Maybe in the times ahead, I'll tell you guys more about it. But we don't even really know too much about etherics yet. I'm still creating it, right? Alongside my partner as well, too. So it's going to be a wonderful experience, but I really don't want to get into too much of that right now. I want to focus more on stuff that's not of myself. Okay? But thank you for the suggestion anyways, Rebecca. I appreciate it. Okay. So here's one from Mihail. Mihail says, can we expect that all war conflicts will dissolve in 2023? No. Oh, no. No. As much as I would love to say, yep, guys, everything's going to dissolve, and you guys are going to get out of this tunnel, and, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and you're just going to get out of this tunnel altogether, and you're going to go in the light. Some of you might. Some of you may, because now you're taking into consideration a lot of the things that I and many other people who follow the similar kind of work that I do are teaching you. And you're now starting to release. You're starting now to do surrender work. You're starting to do release work. You're going within and you're cleaning yourself up. That's the only way to take yourself out of this tunnel. Okay? If you're waiting for the collective event to think that that's going to take you out of this tunnel, you are deluding yourself. Okay? Unfortunately, Mihail, it's going to continue. Okay? It's going to continue in 2023, and it's going to continue in 2024. But it's not something that you need to base every square inch of your time with, because that's where you just drive yourself mad. Okay? Focus on yourself. Work with your soul tribe. Unite together. Come together. Brainstorm together. Innovate together. Work together. Live together. Be together. Okay? That's the solution. Work with yourself. As you work with yourself, join with others who you feel of like-mind vibration with. Tune in to everybody that you feel that strong connection with and make things happen through that grouping. That's what makes life so grand. But most importantly, be in harmony with yourself. Do not worry about all these collective things. This is just all part of the sludge, right, of the ups and downs of a collective. Okay? People focus so much on the collective and think this collective needs to be in perfect harmony. It needs to be in perfect harmony. There can't be one mistake whatsoever. If there's one mistake inside this collective consciousness, then oh my goodness, I can't get on with my life. And you voluntarily put yourself in prison by doing that. Okay? That is personal imprisonment. Don't worry so much about what the collective needs to do. Let the collective take care of the collective. Let God take care of God's world. It's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is yourself, because you're the only one who you can change. Right? You've heard me say this before. Some people get pissy. Oh, Brad, you're saying all this and you're lecturing us again. Blah, blah, blah. I'm just telling you what I'm being guided to tell you guys. Okay? It's not me saying this. This is exactly what just needs to come through me for you guys to hear. And I'm not talking to all of you. Right? If you guys are impacted by what I share and what I say, and it works for you, great. Then that's the person that I'm talking to. If you guys already know all this stuff, then I'm not talking to you, right? I'm talking to the people who need to hear this, because I'm talking to you as a collective, all right? Okay, let's go down the list here a bit more. Shelley says, when will Trudeau go away? Well, let's take a look at Justin Castro, okay? Like I've told you guys in the past, that the real Castro is not there anymore. He's gone. He's been removed from this planet. Okay? Let's say he's been processed, okay? And he's no longer on this earth plane. So right now it's just a doppelganger in charge. Okay, so let's take a look about the future of Justin Castro's doppelganger. All right, let's take a look. Or the Justin Castro avatar. Right? What is ahead for him? And we'll take one more question after this one. Okay, well, it's basically that he's playing out a narrative as he needs to. Like I said, this is not the real Trudeau or Castro. Okay, the past is in that sense that this soul is no longer here. It is basically just an avatar. This is also what I would refer to as an avatar card. Okay, so when I see this coming up, he has been replaced by an avatar. He's been replaced by a doppelganger. Okay, and so he just needs to play out certain roles. He has certain roles he has to play out. He's still just following a script. I think maybe 1 or 2 or 3 of the avatars that are part of Castro in that sense. This may also relate to the idea of certain forms of exposure coming for him down the road as well too. So I think right now he's just basically being buried. Okay, feels like some sweet truths are about to come out with him, and he's basically just in a these cards are trying to run away from me. He's basically in a bind right now, right? He basically has to, or the impression of him, the avatar of him, needs to stay in this bind until he's basically dismissed out of the entire situation, out of the narrative in that way. He hasn't been dismissed yet. Okay, there's still some certain things that need to be exposed about him. So just the legacy of him needs to be exposed, and there's a little bit more time that needs to happen for that to happen. So there's a confirmation right there. He needs to basically have a lot of this light shined upon him, everything that he represents, so that he's completely exposed, because the old Castro had so many deep connections with a lot of this dark cabal. And so a lot of those things in regards to him need to be exposed, regarding his impressions, regarding his legacy. All of that needs to be exposed, so he can't really move anywhere. He's kind of stuck in right now with the narrative. And until that narrative no longer needs him, then he'd be set loose. Then he'd be let go. But I do feel like there may be another leader to come here very soon for Canada. Okay, and it won't be him, but he's just playing ball, and his avatars need to play out this narrative for all the light that needs to be shed on him to be shed upon him. So maybe scandals that he's been doing, works with certain organizations, basically just getting an idea about what he really is, being very transparent with him. And once that happens, he's out of the picture. Okay, so they are looking to let him go, but they have to baby spoon, right? They have to baby feed people about this information about him bit by bit at a time. Because if we try and dump everything all at once, majority of people are going to get confused, they're going to get into panic, they're going to feel overwhelmed, nothing will make sense. And so this is why they baby spoon. That's their philosophy behind this stuff, is we very slowly baby food all this stuff to the public. They're small, miniature truth bombs that are coming out in these stories of narrative, because that's all it is. Just stories, just narratives, right? This is basically just answering quantum healing for your soul. Dodie Jones' question: can the universe tell us how much longer we have to wait until the truth is revealed? Okay, guys, even if the truth is revealed, you're only going to get itty-bitty little tiny weeny portions of it. Okay? For you to know what the entire truth is for you to look inside. Okay? You're never going to have some person that will tell you the entire history of the world, the entire history of these agendas. It can't be done, right? And even when we get people like that, they're only telling you little bits and pieces. You have to feel it in here, right? And a lot of us don't do that. We don't value our hearts. We don't value that we hold infinite intelligence within ourselves, because we are infinite intelligence. And that's the way you're going to know the entire truth of these things. Why do you think I'm able to reveal these things to you guys? Because I look in here. Okay? I'm not going on CNN. I'm not going on some conspiracy website, gathering all this data and putting it on a notepad and sharing all this stuff with you. Everything that's coming to me is coming through flow. Okay? And so if I can do it, that's basically the example I'm setting. You have to do it through your heart. Your heart tells you the truth. Looking on your narratives, on your CNNs, on your conspiracy sites, on your alternative channels, isn't going to do it. Never is. Right? I know that's hard for people to accept, but nonetheless, that's the truth. That's the truth of the truth. Okay? So let's take one last question, then we're going to wrap up. Okay? So I'm going to go down to the bottom of the list here to see what happens here at the bottom. Okay. Okay, I think we'll end with this question here with Karina. Okay? Karina asks, when we ascend to 5D, will all our other parallel or earlier lives also ascend? Karina, with all due respect, that's not at all what's happening. Okay? And I think that you're still trying to figure this out, and I get that. But basically, this question, you don't really know what you're asking. Okay? And I mean that in the most respectable way. The whole idea, guys, is that we're not really ascending to another dimension. Okay? That idea of another dimension is already available to you. You do not need to ascend to what is already existing within you. Here's where people have problems. You guys still see yourself as a body and a mind. Okay? And you still see yourself as a certain personality archetype. You do not realize that everything that represents the universe is yourself. You do not realize that you are every single thing, from the microcosm to the macrocosm. You think that there needs to be some type of finish line, that you need to run like a marathon and then just hit that white ribbon. I'm so victorious. And now I can go to 5D. And oh my God, everything's so grand. But I'm telling you, you have the ability to look at that 5D world right now. I've done a video in the past. I was on the beach and I was talking to people about fourth density Earth. Now, how the heck could I possibly talk about it if I felt that I needed to go through some type of finish line here? You don't have to go through a finish line. Those are lies. Okay? When you guys are being told about all of this New Age ascension talk, guys, you are being told lies. And the reason why you're being told lies is because a lot of people want to start talking about all this stuff to make them feel very, very self-important. That they have some kind of answer that you don't. When I share all these things with you guys, I'm telling you, you guys can do this too. Any of you guys can do the stuff that I do. because it's available to you right now. You don't need to be some special person. You don't need to have some special contract. You don't need to attain some special thing. It's all within you right now. It all just comes down to you being still, being silent, getting the mind quiet. And now when you open yourself up, you can easily focus yourself with a single effortless thought while you're in the quiet. And now a miracle becomes born. Like I said, when I looked into the fourth density earth and I went into that, I didn't need to do any special privileges. It was all through an intention that I did through yoga nidra. I went in, I projected my body to fourth density earth, and I was able to see everything that's there, and it's beautiful. And what I was getting is that that's available to anybody who wants to go there. Anybody who wants to go there through meditation, through yoga nidra, through hypnosis, through sleep, can go there. So that basically debunks everything about you having to ascend to 5D, because that's a bunch of bunk. Okay? It's a bunch of new age dribble garbage. Because you are everyone and you are everything. You are every dimension. You are every realm. You are every plane. Okay? Everything from the microcosm to the macrocosm is you. So do you know what I mean when I say that? If you are everything, you can go everywhere. You can be anything. You can go to the new earth. You can go to dimensions and to worlds that are so incredibly magnificent you couldn't even possibly imagine it. But you have that capability to do that right now, Karina. Okay? It's not about thinking that you need to run some kind of race, some kind of marathon, right? So this is something very, very important that I want to share with you. So this is why I suggest we work with something like release ball method. We work with something like prana transmission technique. We work with the BCR technique. We get all of these shady, ignorant blocks out of ourselves that are telling us, I can't do this because I'm this personality, I'm this body, I'm this mind, and I can't do this because. All of that's got to be cleared away. When all of that's cleared away, you realize, oh my God, I can walk on the fourth density earth at the same time I'm walking here, guys. I'm doing that right now. I'm walking on that very earth that I have witnessed. I am inside that beautiful forest that sings to me. I am talking to the trees that vibrate aurora borealis as they communicate and connect together with me. I'm there right now. And it's beautiful, and I'm here too. Did I need to go on some finish line ribbon to make me do that? No. All it took me was the ability to surrender and go there. Okay? That's all it is, guys. Like I said, we have to finish what we're here to do. Here in this physical body, we have a life body. We need to take care of it and let it do its work for as long as we're here. Once we're done here, whatever you guys want to go do it. Okay? As long as nothing stands in your way. And what stands in your way is ignorance. And we're just clearing that out. As we clear out the ignorance, everything's available to you. Everything in this universe is available to you. All of creation is available to you. God is available to you. The self is you. God is you. Right? There's no limits. When you guys truly know this, oh my God, all this stuff we're thinking about with narratives, we couldn't give a damn about it. I'm free. I don't care about any of this crap. Right? And I want to spread the love and I want to spread the joy. Good. Now you know exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because I want to spread the love and I want to spread the joy. And I'm happy to answer these questions for you guys, but I don't care about them at all. Right? Because I'm free. And I want you guys to feel free too. That's why I do the work that I do. All right? Thank you guys for another wonderful episode of New Earth Tarot. I'll be back tomorrow for an episode of New Earth TV Live, where we're going to be doing meditation, we're going to be doing some distance healing, and we're going to do some more Q&A tomorrow as well too. So feel free to tune into that tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And again, through this recording, I'll have the link to Janine's Zoom registration up on the video description as well too. All right. Take care, everybody. Much love to you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Be well. Thank you very much for checking out the New Earth Teachings YouTube channel. Feel free to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And you can check out the websites, newearthteachings.com, where you can order a private session, 3 questions by email, EQ method, and a lot more. And you can also check out healingcodecards.com, where you can grab your mind deck, your body deck, and of course the brand new Body Deck Special Edition. All of these are available in digital editions as well. And you can also get a shirt just like this through healingcodeshop.com, where you can experience the healing codes in apparel form. So feel free to check out these websites. Thank you so much, and I'll speak to you again in the next video. Be well.